Welcome to our channel. In this session, we will discuss the concept of input-output interface. This input-output interface provides a method for transfer of data between the internal storage and external I/O devices. Simply, it acts as a bridge between the CPU and I/O device. First of all, what is the need of this interface? Remember, main regions are generally the peripherals in the sense the IO devices are prepared by using electromechanical and electromagnetic, but the CPU or memory are prepared, that is are made with electronic devices. That means these two are made with different types. Now if you want to provide a communication, you need to change the signal from electromechanical or electromagnetic to electronic device. So one conversion is needed, change the signal from one type to another type. Now data transfer rate, it is also plays very crucial role. Generally the CPU, the transfer rate of CPU is very fast and the transfer rate of IO devices is slow. That means we need a synchronized mechanism to manage the speed. What is the main thing? The main aim of this interface is it acts as a bridge between CPU and IO devices. Now this is called interface. The speed of CPU is very fast compared to speed of IO device. So you need to synchronize. And another one is the data format. So we are transforming the data. The format of data in the IO devices is different to the word format of the CPU. So again, we need to convert the IO device format to CPU or CPU to IO device format. So these are the main regions for selection of an interface. Now we are moving to that interface, how the CPU is connected through different peripheral devices, that is IO bus, input output bus. Simply this is my CPU or also called as a processor. The CPU is connected to an IO bus and this is the IO bus. Through this bus only the CPU connected to the peripherals. For example, this is some keyboard and this is some printer. You can take any number. This is some printer. Suppose this is some magnetic disc. Like this, different peripherals. But the most important thing, CPU does not connect to the peripheral directly. So one interface is created. This is the interface that connects the CPU to the peripheral. How? This one. Now what are these three lines? The first one is called a data line, next one is an address line, next one is a control line. Now the interface is connected to all the data line, address line and then control line. Similarly, printer is also maintained one interface. Printer is also maintained one interface. It is also connected like this. This is an interface for magnetic disc. Now you got the point. That is, each peripheral contains its own interface that is connected to the CPU. Now how the operation is performed? Simply, if the CPU wants to connect with any device, simply the CPU places, CPU in the sense the processor, the processor places the address of the IO device. These peripherals are also called as IO devices. CPU places the address of the IO device on the address line. Whenever the address is placed on the address line, the interface, internally every interface contains an address decoder. Internally every interface contains an address decoder. The address decoder continuously check the address that is placed on the address line. For example, this interface check the address. If the address placed by the CPU is the address of the keyboard, then this interface is activated, then this path is activated, remaining all devices paths are deactivated. For example, this is not the address of the keyboard. For example, CPU places the address of the printer. Now this interface detects, okay, this is the address of the printer, simply this path is activated. Clear? That is based on the address that is placed by the CPU. The internal address decoders are identify the corresponding address and the path is activated. Along with placing the address, the CPU also places an IO command. That is IO, input output command. So there are four types of input commands. One is control command. What is the meaning? That is CPU places any four types of IO commands. The first one is the control command. This control command specifies which IO device needs to be activated and what the device do. That is printer, you need to print some information. Suppose keyboard, you need to get the information like this. The control command specifies what the operation to be done by the device. That information is specified through control command. Now the next one is status command. Status command in the sense it tests the particular situation, that is right now any errors are there or it is busy with some other work. Every condition of the interface and the corresponding peripheral devices are tested based on the status command. And the next one is data out command. Simply the CPU places some data to some IO device. This command is activated. The interface receives the data that is placed by the CPU and placed inside the one register and then transferred to corresponding IO device. And the next one is data in command. It is exactly reversed to data out. That means here the peripheral gives the data to the interface. The interface receives the data from the peripheral and places into one of the buffer register. This is the way how a processor is communicate with the peripheral devices by using IO bus. Okay, clear? Till now we discussed only one thing, that is related to IO bus. Actually, what is the internal meaning? Generally, we are placing some information from the external devices to internal storage. Means, what is the internal storage? CPU is not the internal storage. The internal storage is memory. That means here a CPU connected to the IO devices through some IO bus, and along with CPU is also connected to the memory devices through some memory bus. Clear the point? Along with IO bus which is used to connect to the IO devices, the CPU is also connected to the memory devices by using memory bus. Okay, now move to that IO and memory. Now the thing is IO versus memory bus. That is CPU is connected with either IO device. Remember this point. CPU is connected to either IO device or memory device. Either IO device or memory device. How? By using IO bus or memory bus. There are different ways. Mainly there are three ways how the common buses are used. Simple thing. So use two separate buses. The simple logic is use two separate buses. That is, in the system create two separate buses. One is a memory bus, another one is an IO bus. Suppose if CPU wants to communicate with the IO device, simply uses the IO bus. If CPU wants to communicate with the memory, simply uses the memory bus. Simply distinguish between IO bus and memory bus. Another approach is, instead of two separate buses, use only one single bus. One single bus. But different control lines. Anyway, I will explain. Different control lines. That is, common bus is used by both the memory and IO. And for IO operation, the different control lines. For memory operation, the different control lines. And the last one is a single bus with one control line. That is the same control line. Anyway, we will discuss these two. If this has no problem, if you are using two separate buses, there is no concept. Okay. Now, these are termed as isolated IO. Isolated IO. And the second one is a memory mapped IO. Simple thing. We are using the same address bus. same address bus for both memory and IO. Remember the point. That is only one address bus is used. That is for both memory and IO. Now the thing is how the computer, for example, if CPU fetches an IO instruction. If the CPU fetches an IO instruction, simply it places the IO address. If simply it places the IO address on the address bus and enable the IO read comma IO write operation. Okay, so that means the same address bus is used, but if the instruction is an IO instruction, the CPU places the address of the IO instruction and enables the IO read and IO write. Then the external components think that based on these two lines enable, okay, the address that is placed on the address bus is for IO. Suppose if CPU wants to communicate with the memory, that is if CPU fetches a memory word, simply it places the memory address. Simply it places the memory address on the common address line and it activates the memory read and memory write operation. You got the point? The same address. This is the common bus. If CPU fetches IO in the address line, they are using IO instruction, and here the control line is there. This is IO read, IO write. Suppose if it is memory, within this address line, the CPU places the address of the memory, and these control lines are IO, memory read, memory write. That is, the control lines are different. This is called isolated IO. Now, the next one is memory mapped IO. What is the memory mapped IO? Here also they are using same address bus, that is a common address bus, both IO and memory, but instead of two control lines, same control line is used for both IO and memory. Both IO and memory, the same control lines are used. Internally, the interface register, that is whatever the interface we are taking for the IO, the interface register is a part of the memory. The interface register is a part of the memory. Simply if it fetches an IO instruction, so that is IO. If it fetches an memory instruction, that is also memory. That is, whether the instruction is IO instruction or memory instruction, simply it uses only memory read, memory write. You got it? Here there is no separation. Internally the IO interface is also placed inside the memory, whether my instruction is IO instruction or memory instruction. In the previous case they are used IO read, IO write for IO, memory read for memory write for memory. But in this case only memory read, memory write operations are used for both IO operations and memory operations. That is, advantage is by using single load and store instruction, we can do all the operations. Clear the point? That is input output interface. Here the thing is, the interface is acts as a bridge between the CPU and the peripheral devices, and the interface is connected to the IO bus for transfer of information between the CPU to IO device. Along with CPU needs to connect with the memory device also. Then we need an additional memory bus. Instead of maintaining an additional memory bus, we are using only one bus in two different approaches. Suppose if it is isolated approach, only one bus is used for both IO and memory, but there are different control lines. But in the memory mapped IO, only single control line. This is the concept. The next session we will discuss asynchronous serial transmission. Thank you.